diagram by clicking. This module describes the controls and indicators of the A320 hydraulic system. The hydraulic system control panel is located on the overhead panel in the flight deck. A maintenance panel is also installed and is located as shown. At any time, you can view the system diagram by clicking the hot word on the screen. Indications are available as lights on the control panels, and a graphic display of the system operation is available on the ECAM hydraulic page. We'll begin our description with the pump switches. The Engine 1 pump switch and the Engine 2 pump switch operate the same. Each switch has an on and off position. With on selected, the pump will operate when the engine is running, as long as the fire shutoff valve remains open. On is the normal position whether the aircraft is parked or is operating. The off position is selected for abnormal procedures. If an engine pump switch is selected to off, the pump will depressurize and stops providing hydraulic pressure to the associated hydraulic system. The fault light in the engine pump switch comes on, and an ECAM caution comes on for the abnormal conditions shown on this frame. The fault light goes out if the control switch is selected to off for all abnormal conditions except during an overheat of the reservoir. During an overheat, the fault light remains on as long as the overheat exists, regardless of the switch position. The blue system electric pump control switch has an off and auto position. With the switch in off, the pump is de-energized. With the switch in auto, the pump operates continuously in flight, but on the ground, the pump operates only when at least one engine is running or if the maintenance blue pump override push button has been pressed. The fault light in the blue system electric pump switch illuminates, and the ECAM caution comes on for the abnormal conditions shown on this frame. Note, the fault light is inhibited for low pressure conditions on the ground when the engines are not operating. The fault light goes out if the control switch is selected to off for all abnormal conditions except during an overheat of the pump or reservoir. During an overheat, the fault light remains on as long as the overheat exists, regardless of the switch position. The yellow electric pump switch controls the electric pump in the yellow system. It has an on and off position. When the switch is selected on, electrical power is provided to operate the pump. Even with the yellow system electric pump switch selected off, the pump will automatically operate if the lever of the cargo door manual selector valve is positioned to open or close. Now note, when the pump is activated for operation of the cargo doors, the only other yellow system components that receive pressure during this time are the alternate brakes and engine 2 reverser. Also, the PTU will not operate. The yellow system electric pump can be manually turned on by the crew to provide hydraulic operations when engine 2 pump is not running. When the engine 2 pump is running, this pump is normally selected off. Now, if electrical power fails when the yellow system electric pump is operating, the pump remains off until the switch is cycled off and on after power has been restored. The fault light in the yellow system electric pump switch illuminates and ECAM caution comes on for the abnormal conditions shown on this frame. Get familiar with each one as they are similar on all the systems. The fault light goes out if the control switch is selected to off for all abnormal conditions except during an overheat of the pump or reservoir. During an overheat, the fault light remains on as long as the overheat exists, regardless of the switch position. The power transfer unit, or PTU, is controlled by a two-position push-button switch. The switch has an auto and an off position. With the switch selected to off, the green and yellow PTU valves are closed and the transfer of hydraulic pressure is stopped. With the PTU switch selected to auto, the green and yellow PTU valves open and the PTU is armed to operate. When armed, the PTU will operate if the differential pressure between the green and yellow systems is more than 500 psi. You should also know that the PTU is inhibited during the first engine start and is automatically tested during the start of the second engine. When the PTU switch fault light illuminates, the ECAM caution comes on for the abnormal conditions shown on this frame. The fault light goes out if the control switch is selected to off for all abnormal conditions except during an overheat. Although the RAT automatically deploys with a loss of both AC bus 1 and AC bus 2, it can be manually deployed by the crew. Therefore, the last control switch to discuss is the guarded RAT Manual On push button. Pushing this button is irrevocable. The RAT can only be stowed by maintenance when on the ground. The ECAM hydraulic page displays the operation of the hydraulic system. Let's start with the bottom and work our way upward on this page. The reservoir quantity is displayed by moving fill level indicator lines for each system. The normal fill area is displayed by the green rectangles. When the display shows below the warning level, the normal green indication changes to amber. Click and hold the fill drain button for each reservoir to see the indication at different quantity levels. Notice the quantities for each system that will move the indicator from the bottom to the top of the normal fill area. We'll now show the quantities that will trigger a low-level warning for each system. We now show the total quantity for each system. An amber low pressure displays and a caution appears on ECAM if the reservoir air pressure is below normal. An amber overheat displays and a caution appears on ECAM if the temperature of the returning hydraulic fluid to the reservoir is above normal. The fire valve symbol is an inline green when it is not fully closed. It displays a cross-line amber when it is fully closed. The electric overheat annunciation shows in amber for an overheated electric pump. The RAT displays in white when the RAT is stowed. If pressure to deploy the RAT is applied, the display shows amber. If the RAT is not stowed, the display shows green. Therefore, when the RAT is deployed, the display should change sequentially from white to amber to green. Additionally, when the RAT is not fully stowed, the memo display of RAT out is displayed. If the RAT is not available or not providing pressure when it should, the display is amber. The electric display for a pump is normally white. However, it becomes amber if the associated power supply to the electric pump has failed. The yellow electric pump control symbol shows white when the pump is off and green when the pump is on. The display shows amber if the pump is selected on, but the yellow system pressure is low. The PTU control displays in open amber if the PTU is selected off. The PTU control displays in open green if the PTU push button is in auto and the PTU is not transferring pressure. The PTU control displays in filled green if the PTU is transferring pressure, and the arrows indicate the direction of pressure transfer. Additionally, when the PTU is running, a memo display of hydraulic PTU is displayed. The engine pump control and low pressure indication appears in the box above the pump. When the pump is off, the amber cross-line symbol is displayed. When the pump is on and operating normally, the green inline symbol is displayed. When the pump is selected on, but producing low pressure, the amber low annunciation is displayed. This is the case when the pump switch is on, but the engine is off. The engine pump identifier legend is normally shown in white. This legend displays in amber if the associated engine N2 is below idle. The system labels are displayed in white when the system pressure is above 1450 psi, but display in amber if the system pressure is below 1450 psi. The flow symbols and the system pressure digital display green when pressure is above 1450 psi, but display amber if below 1450 psi. Normal operations. Normal pre-flight of the hydraulic system requires electrical power in order for the switch lights and ECAM to operate. Therefore, assume normal powers on the aircraft. You'll first verify that all lights on the hydraulic control panel are off and that the hydraulic quantities are in the normal fill range on the ECAM hydraulic page. If the accumulator or accumulator pressure indication is not in the green band, you will want to boost it by operating the yellow system electric pump. This will ensure adequate pressure for operation of the parking brake. For safety purposes, ensure you get clearance from ground personnel before pressurizing the hydraulic systems. Turn on the yellow system electric pump. When the accumulator pressure is in the green band, you can turn it off. During the rest of your pre-flight of the flight deck, the ECAM will normally display the doors page. However, if you have the ECAM hydraulic page displayed, you may notice the yellow system electric pump come on when ground personnel operate the cargo doors. It shuts off when the cargo doors are not in motion. Before pushback, verify that the accumulator pressure is still in the green band for parking brake operation. During the start of the first engine, the ECAM engine page normally displays. However, if you were to display the ECAM hydraulic page, you would see the system pressure increased when the first engine is started. Additionally, the blue system's electric pump comes on. Now, click the Start Engine 1 button to see the ECAM hydraulic page as it would display during the start of Engine 1. You would see the green system pressure increase during start. A memo Hydraulic PTU appears on the upper ECAM as a result of the PTU operation. Well, that completes your view of hydraulics during engine start. After start and during flight, you'll have to manually select the ECAM hydraulic page when you want to monitor the hydraulic system for normal operations. Since the hydraulic system is designed for automatic operation, there are no checklist items pertaining to the hydraulic system throughout the flight. Most pilots will verify the brake pressure before taxi into the gate area upon arrival. Of course, after engine shutdown, a quick view of the ECAM hydraulic page will show the yellow system electric pump operating when the cargo doors are being opened. You'll not likely take time to view this event. Next, to answer some questions.